Hi guys, Jess again and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I will be reviewing the MacBook Air 2020. 1 week ago, I unboxed my new MacBook Air, which if you guys want to see that video, I will link it up top as well as in the description below in case you guys want to watch it first. But in that video, I ended up unboxing the 2020 MacBook Air, and in this video, I will be talking to you guys how it's been since I've got it for a full-on week of using it. Just to recap a bit about the MacBook Air that I got, I ended up getting the base model. And by base model, I mean I did not get the one with the M1 chip. The one I got has 256 gigabytes, 8 gigs of RAM, as well as the i3 processor. So just to let you guys know, that is the one that I have and that I'll be reviewing. So one of the first things that I want to talk about concerning this laptop is overheating. Now I've had it for 1 week now, and so far I haven't experienced overheating. It does get hot, but apart from that, the fan didn't start, none of that yet. I'm assuming at one point I will probably experience overheating. I do know that if you do play video games on it, it will probably end up overheating, as I don't think it's a laptop made for that. But for the things that I've been using it so far, it hasn't done that. I do expect it to maybe overheat at one point during editing, but so far it hasn't, so it hasn't been an issue for a week now. Doesn't mean it won't end up becoming an issue, but so far it hasn't been one. The next thing I want to talk about is actually something I'll be comparing these two laptops with, this being my old one, this being the new one, which is speed. So the speed for this one compared to that one is obviously definitely faster. I do notice that I can open a page and it goes a lot faster. It doesn't lag, it doesn't slow, it works. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. It does work a lot better. It does work a lot faster. When I click on it, the page opens up, whilst with my older one, it didn't really open up that fast. Sometimes I would even have to just close Safari again and open it again because it just wouldn't work. Which, when you're working on projects, ends up becoming a big problem, which is another reason why I had to upgrade my MacBook. It just would not work anymore. When I needed to get things done fast, it just wouldn't follow my speed and wouldn't comply, and so none of the things that I was trying to do would work. When I was trying to get things done fast and work on projects fast, open pages and do this and do that, it just wouldn't be as fast as I wanted it to be. While so far with the new one, I didn't get any issues. Again, it's only been a week, so if I hit a few bumps in the road later, I will figure that out. But so far, I do notice a big difference. The next thing I want to talk about is the keyboard. So the keyboard is supposed to be their new Magic Keyboard, and it's supposed to be a lot better than before, and it should make clicking smoother. And I did notice that difference the first time I tried it during that video when I was setting it up. I did notice that there was a difference with the clicking, and I honestly love it so much better than the previous ones. It just really feels a lot better and smoother and just overall better, just like they intended. As for the next thing I want to talk about, it's probably something, honestly, a small detail for some people. To me, it was a little bit of a bummer, but honestly, it doesn't stop me from liking this MacBook so far, but it's the charger. So I have both chargers that I used to use right now. So this old one was actually magnetic, and it also has a light on it. So when I would charge my older MacBook, let's say I was in class and somebody was walking by and they accidentally hit the cord, well, the MacBook wouldn't go flying, you know, it would just unclip because it's magnetic. Another thing I liked was the light. It would be orange when it's charging and then green when it's done, so I knew when to unplug it. Compared to this one, this newer charger, it actually doesn't, it's not magnetic. So if I have somebody walking next to me and they accidentally hit my cord, my MacBook would go flying, which I kind of find that a bummer. I really like that feature from before. I used to hate it the first time I got it because when you had a hard time reaching, sometimes it would just unplug so easily and stuff like that, but I ended up loving it, and not having it anymore was kind of like I said, a little bit of a bummer, and I hope they bring it back one day, but it's not a deal breaker like I said. And also, they don't have a light on it, which means I don't know when it's done charging unless like I'm using it. So I have to check. I know usually laptops from the ones that I used to use when I was younger didn't have lights, so it was probably something added that was new, but I was so used to it and I kind of miss it. But like I said, it's not a deal breaker, it's just something that I found that was a bit of a bummer. This next detail is also it's a small one, but also is slightly of a bummer, but it's not, again, a deal breaker, and it's the Apple logo I'm used to having my other MacBook. Right now the battery's dead, so I can't show you guys, but the other MacBook that I have, the Apple would glow, and my dad would always make like little comments like, oh, the Apple's lighting on, or stuff like that, and I just thought it was really funny. But when he saw that one, he was like, the Apple logo isn't lighting up, and I noticed it and I was like, oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, like I missed the iconic little Apple logo that would glow, and it would just make it fun. Like when I was studying at night, I don't know why, but I just like that. But it's a detail that they didn't add on to the newer ones. Maybe one day they'll bring it back, but I don't know. It's still not a deal breaker, just a little bit of a bummer like the charger. Next detail will be the storage, and once again I'll be comparing this laptop with my older one because these are the only two Macs that I've ever had, so they're the only ones I can really compare. So this MacBook, my older one, had 128 gigabytes of storage, and I ended up struggling with it so much, and it was not enough because sometimes I didn't have time to have a USB key, and I would always like to save a copy on my laptop, a copy on a USB key in case I lost either one, and then another copy. Like, I think we were taught to always save it 3 times, 3 different spots, so that if something happens to one and something happens to the other, which happens to some student, then you have a third spot that you have it. And so saving a bunch of stuff on my MacBook ended up being it was a struggle because then when I was editing videos, I didn't have any more room. So it was really, really hard to work with the space that I had. And now this one, I know I said that I was really happy with the 256 gigabytes, which is basically the double, and I still really am, but definitely will be upgrading that once again at my next laptop. But this one was on sale, it was in my price range, I needed something fast to work on everything that I needed to work on at that time. So to me it really doesn't matter, but definitely if you want to do a lot of stuff, like if you're using it for college, university, school, as well as editing, as well as many other things, I would highly suggest getting way more than 256, unless you're saving everything on an external storage and a USB key, and saving anything on your MacBook really doesn't bother you. But if you want to do what I did and what was suggested to me, which was saving things at 3 spots, then maybe getting a bigger one would be better. I feel like this one will be fine for what I needed to do right now, so I'm not complaining. But definitely if I do something later on in life that requires a lot more space, then I will be getting way more than 256 gigabytes. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is the fingerprint reader, which when I compare it to my other laptop again, I didn't have that before, and it's kind of something that I don't know why, but it really makes me happy because it's just so much faster getting into my MacBook now. I'm just going to show you guys real quick. So when I open it, yeah, don't mind the background, don't mind anything on my laptop. I did not set it up. Well, I didn't like customize it yet. Like I said in my unboxing video, I'm not the best at customizing MacBook screens or laptop screens in general, so I haven't done anything. But just to show you guys, I'm going to put my finger here, and then it's open. It's already open. It's super fast, and I find it super convenient when I need to open my MacBook really fast to take notes and stuff. So that's something that I'm really happy that they did and added, and I'm really glad that I got a MacBook that has that. I never thought that I would ever need a MacBook with a fingerprint reader, but definitely love that I have one right now. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about before I go over all the things and then say my personal opinion on which MacBooks maybe you guys should get is the size difference. Now, I showed it in my unboxing video, but I want to show it to you guys again. So this is the old MacBook with the new MacBook. Now, the size difference, I hadn't noticed it at first when I unboxed it, but it is, like, you do notice it after a while. Am I mad that it's smaller? No, because now I realize how much bigger that one was and how, I guess, easier it is to store that one and to use that one, and how it's smaller, lighter. It's so much better in my opinion when it comes to size. Is it a problem? No. If you like bigger MacBooks, then I would suggest getting a bigger MacBook. But if you like smaller ones and you don't mind the change in size, the screen didn't change at all, like it's still the same size as the older one. But if you don't mind the size, then it will be totally fine for you guys. With all of that being said, my last personal opinion would be that I am okay with the MacBook right now. Now, will it be something like, will I always go towards MacBook Airs? No. Had the MacBook Pro been in my budget, I would have gotten that one instead because it's much more powerful. In my opinion, the MacBook Pro would probably be better for editing, better for schoolwork, better to do multiple things at once. But if you just want to use it for schoolwork, or if you just want to use it for a little bit of editing, not hardcore editing, then the MacBook Air is definitely a perfect laptop for you. If you want to upgrade and you want to do a bunch of editing, and if you have a bunch of projects, then I would recommend the MacBook Pro. Does that mean I hate the MacBook Air? No. So far, I do love it. I do love using it. It is pretty similar to my older one, so I do know how to get around it, and it's super easy to use. But if I do want to upgrade for editing at one point and stuff like that, yes, I will be, the next one probably will not be a MacBook Air, but instead a MacBook Pro. But like I said, that is just my personal opinion. I still love my MacBook Air, I will still be using it, but in a few years I will probably be upgrading to the MacBook Pro, as it's just gonna be, I feel like it's a bit better. But for schoolwork, if you're just using it as a university student or a college student or a high school student or a student in general, you'll be fine with just the MacBook Air. If you want to do hardcore editing and stuff like that, then of course MacBook Pro would be better, but you can still do editing on the MacBook Air. And with that, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys found it helpful. I am not a tech channel, so I'm not really a professional in more of the tech-ish department, but still I hope you guys found it helpful, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!